They charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Allegedly Bravo. It is me, Cash.
And I'm Lauren. Oh my God, Cash. Where the fuck have you been?
Been under a rock. Been under a rock.
So.
Been under a rock, been moving, been working. Life has been treacherous, but I'm back. All of our furniture is still in storage because everything is just taking so long these days with, I don't know if it's shipping or what, or just people aren't working or there aren't enough workers, but everything's taking forever. We have a painter that can't be here for like 3 weeks. The electrician was like, I'm 2 weeks booked. Furniture is like a month out.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So here I am back in the loft.
Back in the loft, baby. Oh my God. What a time to be alive. What a full circle. I feel like it was just this time last year you were up in that loft.
It was. And that was a darker time, but
it
here
was
we
a
are.
little darker. It was a little swampier.
Definitely. It was a lot swampier, but here we are. We're back getting the house situated. I just put in a massive furniture order last night.
Oh my God. Wow.
And I sent Lauren a text message and I said, pray for my credit card.
You know what would be great? Pray
for it.
I would love if Article Furniture could sponsor us or something.
So I bought a table from them.
You did? What's it like? Is it as good as they say it is on the other podcast?
I don't know.
Oh,
obviously,
right. How would
TBD
you know?
TBD when it arrives, but I'm excited. I just got like a very simple light oak dining room table. So it has very good reviews. All of their furniture seems very high quality. And so,
wow.
I don't know. We'll see.
Wow. You might be a little micro influencer over there.
I
Wow.
know. But this is the first time, and I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but you know, when you're in college or just living kind of your bachelor days, you're buying your stuff from IKEA, you're getting hand-me-downs from family, like nothing really feels of quality or like something you're proud of. At least that's how I felt. Like
it's like not your stuff. It's like your pretend stuff for this point.
So we finally pulled the plug and bought stuff from like Crate and Barrel and West Elm.
Wow. But you know what? You guys work hard. You are moving from an apartment with like literally almost no even space for furniture to like a home. Like you needed it. So
fresh start.
RIP available credit, but you know what? It's going to feel good.
I know. So I'm excited. But in my time of moving, I have been getting caught up on this wild Johnny Depp, Amber Heard saga. Because
like, what the fuck?
The fact that we're only 3 weeks into it and it's a 6-week trial.
Yeah. Right? I mean, honestly, this judge, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like this is an insane way to clog up the already clogged court system.
Yeah, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, they both have a right to a fair trial. They both have a right to have a jury trial.
Right.
And everything has been backlogged because of COVID. So I'm assuming Johnny Depp, well, we'll get into it. But before we do,
shout out to our Patreon subscribers, our VIP patrons. We have Classic Skytops, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, and CK. Head on over to Patreon, and we really actually love posting on Patreon. I love making the monthly newsletters, our little circular. We do more like personal content there, and I just think it's so fun. And all of the support from our patrons goes to help running this whole shindig.
It sure does. And it's a little bit behind the scenes. You know, we're breaking the fourth wall. We're talking about things. We're getting a little bit more personal. Sometimes we're a little bit more unhinged than we are on this podcast.
Oh, no.
It's just more fun.
I think so. Not that this isn't fun.
No. This is definitely fun. But Before we get started, any updates in life? Like, how's everything going? How's the job?
Okay, job is great. I'm really getting my feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
Life is fucking crazy. So my cousin who just moved up here, who we've done an episode with a little bit ago, she was driving down the road and ran a red light and got hit by the fucking city train. And so the back of her car, it's not funny, but it's funny now, like was completely destroyed. She's totally fine. Thank God. But like, I'm still kind of riding the high of the adrenaline there.
So it wasn't a freight train. It was a train carrying people.
Yeah, it was carrying people.
That is so bad.
It was pretty bad.
That is so reckless.
And then
Sorry.
she got a ticket for a red light runner, obviously.
She's so lucky she didn't. Anyways, well, we're glad she's safe. We are so glad she's safe.
I know. What about you?
Like I said, just moving, working. I went on, you guys, can we have a moment of silence? I went on a run for the first time in like 2.5 years. Outside. Not on a treadmill. Outside.
Was I ran there on an emergency?
No, just trying to like really up the physical fitness and trying to also get a tan, because I feel like when I was down in the Bay Area, I was so stuck in my apartment.
Yeah.
I didn't really get out. And up here, the weather's nice. There's trails and it's much more outdoorsy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to like hone in on that, you know?
How fun. A little hiker girl.
I'm a hiker girl. And my George Glass said he's got some friends that want to go fishing. So I mean,
hunting, fishing and loving every day.
I feel like I'm gonna get a boat. I'm gonna get a fishing rod, and I will be in that river.
Get that bucket of worms, and you go fishing.
But anyways, okay. So you guys, we today are talking about Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. We are, as I say, going a little bit depper.
Oh, we're going a little bit depper. Last week we covered the complaint, and I got emotionally caught up on this whole entire thing. Like, oh, by the way, I realized why I didn't know anything about these people, because my cousin, my wonderful cousin, texted me and was like, you didn't know anything about this because you were studying for the fucking bar exam. Like you were in law school. So, okay, I give myself a break.
Yeah, I was not really, I knew the two dated and I knew there were rumblings of them having a toxic relationship, but it wasn't on my radar really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more of like trashy gossip than I am, like our reality stars or Bravo Labs than I am into like the Marvel movie Disney people actors.
Yeah.
The serious actors, like don't care about the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie of it all. Like, I don't care. I care about Teresa Giudice and Louis,
Exactly.
Like that's where, and I don't know what that says about me.
It says you're grounded. I think that means you're a grounded, well-rounded human.
I just find that gossip is much more fun. This is a little too real, and I don't know where that rationale comes from, but this is darker.
It's because this is like in a court with like a lot more money behind it, where like the rest of them are like, I mean, not that money makes a difference, but like it was a little scarier when it happened to Gina versus which is a little more crazy.
Well, I actually think that we expect poor behavior from our reality stars. We don't expect this kind of behavior from our Marvel Disney actors.
That's such a good point.
So I think that's why it's wild, you guys. Yeah. It's wild. So we're going to do a little background debrief on the summary of the relationships. We're going to go through kind of a summary of the lawsuit. What's up with the countersuit? Why are people on the witness list? What's the evidence look like? Like what is going on? Because I think a lot of people are confused why Johnny Depp is testifying to certain stuff when he's the one who brought the lawsuit about this defamatory statement. So like, why is the turd burger being brought up? The grumpy, as he has called it, like why are these things?
The grumpy S?
He called it a grumpy.
The turd?
you guys, I watched the testimony, some of his testimony last night on YouTube, and he referred to it as a grumpy.
He referred to the turd as a grumpy? That's really funny. I never have heard of that before, but okay, love it.
So we'll get into that. But before we do, let's set the stage for these two wild lovebirds.
Wild, good-looking, crazy people. Okay, so Johnny Depp and Amber Heard met in 2009 on the set of The Rum Diary, but they didn't date until 2 years later when they were promoting the film.
Yes. So first of all, what the fuck is The Rum Diary?
Never, ever fucking heard of it. I never heard of it.
Please let us know if you've heard of this movie and or if you've watched it, because I would like to get a quick little review of it. But I did find it. So in my deep dive of my research, they had a kissing scene in a shower. And that is when the sparks, like Johnny Depp said, when he kissed Amber Heard, he felt something different.
Wow. And how cute.
But they were both in relationships with other people. And so they never acted on it. And then,
well, that's good.
And then 2 years later, when they were promoting the films, they got together.
Were they single when they got together?
Yeah. I think they both ended their relationships and then got together.
Wow. That's kind of a cute story.
I know. And it's sad. It really is sad.
I know it is kind of sad, especially when it's like you feel a spark, and then it's like that whole long process of like getting together and all that stuff. And then it's like only to be here in this moment being talked about by us.
And what a dark stain on your reputation in your life.
I mean, this is going to be Googleable forever. But
also like Johnny Depp's children have to live through it.
Oh my
God, her family's having to live through it. Their friends and family, like the friends that are having to testify. It's so dark. Oh,
I would be fucking pissed. Can you imagine if your boss was in some stupid lawsuit and so you had to go testify? I would be like, get your fucking shit together. I should not have to go to court on a weekday because of you.
They do get paid. So, okay. So after they met, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard get married in 2015, but then Heard filed for divorce 15 months later. I had no idea the relationship was that short.
I didn't either, but I guess it's also kind of long because they kind of met in 2009. So it was like emotionally 6 years, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they rekindled in 2012. And so it was like, it was about 4 years of them being together, which I don't know. I don't feel as long for what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, I agree.
All of the hysteria behind the relationship and chaos.
Yeah. It's like how much of it was good if this much of it was bad.
Yeah. So this is when things start to get crazy and start to spiral. So Heard filed a TRO against Johnny Depp, which is the temporary restraining order. And she was making claims that he was being abusive and it was a volatile relationship.
And she walked into court with like bruises on her face for that hearing. Yeah.
Oh. And I did read a declaration that one of her friends wrote in support of the temporary restraining order. And so
anything juicy?
No, just like, hey, she called me and she told me to call 911 and their relationship was toxic and just like vague general statements.
Oh, lame.
I mean, nothing as juicy as what we're getting.
I know, exactly. It's like, how do you even compare?
Yeah. So eventually, Johnny Depp denies these allegations, right? He's like, this is just a ploy for her to try to settle this divorce by getting some type of financial gain, right? And so, but eventually they settle the divorce out of court, and she, I think, allegedly received $7 million. And she claims that she donated the money to charity.
Right. So from my understanding, she said, I'm taking the $7 million and I'm going to donate it to the ACLU. with like a schedule of donations, like whatever, like on the first, they'll get this much on whatever, however they do it. I'm not rich enough to be on a donation schedule here.
Yeah,
So
so like
this is
once
what
every
I'm
month.
gathering. Yeah. It's like $1 million a month for 7 months or whatever. But word on the street is that she didn't do that.
Oh,
She didn't do that.
how do you, and where is this source coming from?
The guy who's in charge of the ACLU like charity part, I guess, he was like testifying, and word on the street is all 7 mil didn't make it there, and so they're like, oh, she's a fucking liar. But like, yeah, she probably is a liar, but also like, okay, tell me if this makes me a bad person or not. But I think if you say, hey, I'm going to donate X amount of money, I mean, that's a gift. Like, you can't be sitting there being like, you never gave them the money. You never did that. It's like, it's a generous thing to do.
Yeah, but it goes to her credibility too, where she's coming out and saying, look, I did not use this money for any personal gain. I actually donated to the ACLU. I mean, it goes to, and it also goes to show her need to like puff up her reputation and come off as this angel, and is while painting Johnny Depp to be somewhat of a narcissistic devil. And when in reality, I think they're both damaged people who were in a very toxic relationship and are probably very much both at fault.
Yeah.
Agree. And I'm wondering if, as this lawsuit has gone on, they are self-aware enough to recognize that.
No.
I don't understand how you get to this. I wonder if the attorneys at any point had a conversation at this point in the trial, or like, let's withdraw. Let's stop.
Don't you think at every point they've been like, brother, sister, we don't have to do this?
Because Amber Heard came out before and said, like, I've always loved Johnny. I love him so much. And like, I just can't wait until we can move on with our lives and we no longer have to deal with this. And it's like, you could have, like, this is from 2019. We are in 2022. We've gone through a pandemic. Like, my guess as to how this lawsuit is going to play out is that Johnny Depp, they're both going to be responsible for their own attorney's fees.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the jury is going to find that Johnny Depp's in favor of Johnny Depp and his lawsuit. And I don't think that they're going to find in favor of, Amber Heard for her counter claim.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And so they're both going to have to absorb their own attorney's fees costs, and no one's going to get any money from anyone.
Yeah. And I think that's totally how it should be.
Could you imagine that? So like, now the entire world knows everything about your relationship, personal text messages between you and your friends who are of a celebrity
literal
level, or
videos of your couple fights,
is all out there for the world to see, will forever remain on the court docket.
Oh, forever.
Like, you guys can go.
I literally downloaded all of it already.
Yeah. You guys can go to Fairfax County, their website, and type in the case number, and you have access to the exhibits that are going to be presented.
I'll link it on our website.
And so it's really, really, really sad. It's really sad. But anyways, let's get into the summary of the lawsuits. Do you want to tell us?
Yes.
Give us because I was not aware of this. I did not know there was another lawsuit that was out there involving the Sun.
Yes. So a while ago, Johnny Depp sued the Sun, that trashy tabloid magazine, for libel because they called Johnny a wife beater. And they provided like 14 different allegations of abuse by Johnny Depp. So they went through this whole court battle, and it was just like this, where it was like days and days and days. And all this happened in the UK, like, because that's where the Sun is. So same thing, you can go download the transcript of every single day in the UK court from the website if you want to go read it. But long story short, after like, I think it was 12 days of trial, the court found that the statements were substantially true, and found that Johnny did do 12 out of the 16 alleged instances of domestic violence.
Well, let's be clear that it's not they found that the allegations to be substantially true based on testimony that was presented during the trial, that there was enough evidence to find that these statements were not false. Not that they occurred, but they're finding that the burden of proof is much lower, but they did find that there was some substantial truth to it and that it wasn't blatantly false to where, because like, remember, to have a defamatory statement, it has to be false if the strongest defense is that it's true. And so if there's a finding of substantial truth, you can't really be that successful.
Right. And like in this lawsuit that he has against Amber Heard, he blatantly claims in the complaint, I did not ever abuse Amber Heard. And it's like, I'd be like, well, but I kind of said you did. Like even this court found that you probably did. So how can you say never? Like, it just puts a little doubt there.
Yeah. I wonder, I guess I would have to look at I wonder if they use or reference any of the transcripts from the UK.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
His attorneys and Amber Heard's attorneys.
Both of them. So then the second one is this lawsuit versus Amber Heard. And the trial separations. The trial centers around a defamation lawsuit that was filed against Amber Heard for that op-ed she wrote that we read last week about domestic violence in the Me Too movement. Depp says that this article irreparably damaged his career. And now he's bringing this lawsuit claiming $50 million in damages, meaning that whatever Amber Heard said in the op-ed caused him to incur at least $50 million in damage.
Yeah, because Johnny Depp's alleged that as a result of this op-ed, he was dropped from Pirates of the Caribbean, and he was also dropped from J.K. Rowling's movie, something Beasts. And so that's probably attributed to loss of actual wages and then probably some type of emotional damage as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did you read the article?
I did.
And what did you think?
So I read the article, and as somebody who is not aware or privy to the relationship between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I would have had no idea. Right. And so it is from the to prove defamation. I think it's what a reasonably prudent person would. It's from the standard of a reasonably prudent person or a reasonable person of the general public and how they would perceive that information. And I just don't think a general person a general member of the public or a reasonable person of the public would know it would that was related to Johnny Depp. Yes, if you're looking at a group of people that are not obsessed with, but very much into celebrity gossip, they would know.
Are fans. Yeah.
But I don't think that's the standard. We're not looking at a specific group of people. We're looking at the general public altogether. And I if I read that, I would have had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. But what Johnny Depp is saying, hey, look, yeah, of course, my name wasn't specifically mentioned in this article, but based on the totality of the circumstances and everything that's been floating around in the tabloid world, that is enough for people to deduce that this is about me. Because if you look, they have the divorce, right? Then you have her temporary restraining order, which makes allegations that Johnny Depp's abusive. Then that was
granted.
It was granted. And then you also have the Sun article. And so he's saying, hey, look, I have a granted TRO against me, which doesn't necessarily make a finding that I was abusive. There just makes a finding that there could be a potential, threat, or we need to separate the parties. Right. And so he's saying, based on all of that information, a reasonable person could understand this article to be about, Amber Heard's op-ed to be about Johnny Depp.
I just feel as though if I'm sitting here as a juror, pretending that I am, I've been watching this shit on TikTok for 2 weeks now, I would have really liked it if instead of watching these two people fight, which was fun and so juicy, and I rewatched all these videos, but I think it would have been more interesting for them to be like, hey, this is what people in 2018 thought. Like Johnny Depp was in the news like 100 times. Amber Heard was in the news 200 times. Like that's why these people would know it was about Johnny Depp, because it's like no one's told me why they think that a normal member of or reasonably member of society would know that it was about Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? Like no one's convinced me that we would all know. Like, yeah, in 2022, maybe we don't all know because it's been so long.
Well, it's all circumstantial evidence. And so they have to just be able to, his attorney is just going to have to present enough evidence to the court based on all of the other information that was out there that a reasonable person a person of the general public could deduce that this is about him. But
yeah, I think they got to do a better job.
Well, that's again why I don't think he's going to be successful in this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be successful in this lawsuit. I don't find the jury. I don't think the jury is going to find Amber Heard, responsible for a defamatory statement or find enough evidence to prove that the statement was defamatory in any way.
Especially because you have to prove that the whole thing was false. So Johnny Depp's team has to prove that he never was abusive towards her, because that's the whole allegation in the article. Mm-hmm. So if he has to sit there and prove that he never abused her, well, I mean, that's kind of shot to hell if you ask me. Like there's literally like text messages, videos, like the finger cut off incident. Like it's very clear that they were both abusive to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that like it will continue to keep going, or do you think that an attorney will be like, we have to call it, like we have to just settle?
No, it's going to keep going.
Yeah.
I think it's going to keep going because Johnny Depp's attorney, I think they've rested their case in chief. And so Amber Heard's attorney is getting ready to present her case. And I think Amber Heard's supposed to testify on Monday.
Oh
but
my God,
the really interesting thing about this case is that one, it's a defamation case involving two celebrities. But the second part is that it's a defamation case involving two celebrities with the defendant then filing a countersuit against the plaintiff alleging another set of defamatory allegations. Mm-hmm. So it's just, and I think that's a perfect example of like
name calling
of their relationship.
Yeah.
Like and taking a step back, it's like, it's the perfect representation of their relationship together, where it's like, oh, you're going to do this to me. Guess what? I'm going to turn around and do the exact same thing to you, because a countersuit that you're just basically alleging, I think it happens most like in breach of contract, where, a plaintiff's alleging the defendant breached a contract, the defendant's saying, well, actually, no, you breached the contract. Mm-hmm. It's just finger pointing. Mm-hmm. But it can be a very successful tactic, and it has to be brought on the basis of good faith. Like you can't just bring a countersuit to try to muddy the waters of litigation, right, to try to confuse the judge or the jury. Mm-hmm. It has to be done in good faith. And so obviously the court found that it was done in good faith, but I think that this tactic of her filing the countersuit is detrimental to her. One, public, like her career, but I also think it's detrimental to this case.
Even I just feel like at this point, the reputations of both of these people have been, we learned that woman shit in a bed, for God's sakes. Like,
I know. Well, so her lawsuit is Johnny Depp filed the $50 million lawsuit for defamation. Mm-hmm. Amber Heard turned around, filed a $100 million countersuit against Depp, claiming that she actually was defamed. Mm-hmm. Or Johnny Depp defamed her when his legal team referred to the allegations of domestic abuse as fake and as a sexual violence hoax. Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting, right?
It's exhausting. But it's so exhausting.
So we went through like a bunch of did you look at any of the exhibits that I pulled up, by the way?
I looked at them separately on the website.
Okay. So I pulled up a bunch of also like TikToks, because me and my TikToks. And there are some that I find to be so interesting that I just like want to play and have us talk about, mm-hmm. And first, I want to talk about Johnny Depp and his courtroom demeanor and his like demeanor as a witness. Okay.
Yes. Can I? Are we going to play the video first?
Yes.
Because I have so many statements.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Okay. I have so many thoughts on it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a grandma. I don't know how to share my screen. Okay.
It's right there in the middle.
Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Ready?
Yes. I think I know what this is. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No.
I don't know what to do about that. Let me play it on my phone.
Okay.
But tell me about what you think about the courtroom demeanor.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure that this is the exact same clip that it's the clip that's been circulating about the attorney for Amber Heard objecting to a hearsay
of his own question. No, but
no. It's a different no. So there's a hilarious clip that's been going around where I think it's actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't Amber Heard's attorney that was asking the question. It was Johnny Depp's attorney was asking a question. They were laying the foundation for a conversation that he had with somebody, and counsel objects on the grounds of hearsay because he's getting ready to talk about a conversation. He says, yes, I talked to, say, Bob.
Yeah.
And then I had a conversation with Bob, and the attorney objects on the grounds of hearsay.
Yeah.
Then, and it's overruled, right? I'm pretty sure. And then Johnny Depp goes, yeah, well, Bob told me, blah, blah, blah. And then Johnny Depp looks to the attorney like, are you going to object?
Is it hearsay?
Like, are you going to object? And the attorney didn't say anything. It was just, and then the attorney then later objects, but it was just so funny because that's what happens when you're so involved. Like, even you're so involved in this trial that I think Johnny Depp's like probably more on his game with evidentiary objections. And
well, it's very clear that he is, but these are some of the questions.
Funny.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bob.
Objection calls for hearsay.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. He'd had a conversation with Ms. Heard. He said, yes, they had. Okay. It appears that Ms. Heard had told
Hearsay, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
Well, the thing is like when you're in a trial, it becomes there comes a point where
Ms. Heard that
he's been on the stand for hours. It becomes exhaustive.
No, literal days.
Maybe they're hearsay.
And then you're getting
if I can read it out of
grilled by the defense attorney, and he's asking silly questions that you don't find to be relevant. Of course, I mean, you have to answer them, most of them.
Nothing simple.
But he's giving a little bit of sass back, and if I were Johnny Depp's attorney, I would just say, look, cut the theatrics and just answer his question, because you're wasting the court's time, and you're also potentially impacting the way that the jury
reacts to you.
The jury's perception. But I mean, I've had attorneys before that are just obnoxious.
Oh yeah.
Obnoxious during a trial, objecting all the time and just asking really inappropriate questions, and also being aggressive to the witness. But when the attorney objected to his own question. It was so funny.
I know, that was so funny. This one also, I wanted to talk about him trying to authenticate this document for like 100 hours.
Okay.
This was a document
Music
that you
is
signed as part of
obnoxious.
the
I know,
transaction.
TikTok's like
Correct?
so hard.
Well,
That's my signature indeed.
yeah, they don't like
Mr.
each
Depp,
other.
that is your
Clearly,
signature
clearly,
on the
it's
right.
very much
correct?
obvious that they are not enjoying one another on the stand. But
This is
I
a
will
document you
say,
signed.
it is.
Right?
It can be so
For the
hard
first time, that is my signature,
questioning
And that was a document
a
you
witness on the
signed
stand,
in August
especially if you're
of
trying to lay foundation or you're trying to authenticate a
Correct.
record or
Is
you're
that the
trying to
same
move a
one that
piece
I
of
saw
a record
few
into
times
evidence
before?
and you're getting,
Well, I
they're
just-
lodging
I wanted to make
objections
clear
at
that
you,
you
like you
signed
can
after
become
summer
flustered.
2000.
It's so, trial is so stressful.
Yeah.
It is so stressful, but this has just been a nightmare of a trial. It's from the witness, from Johnny Depp's testimony to the allegations, to the questions that are being asked, to Heard's defense attorney. Like, it's the witnesses, the witness that was in the vehicle vaping. and
Yeah,
driving
like
Madison
the
off.
manager of the apartment complex. And he did not want to be there either. And then the chauffeur, though, that was weird. They kept like trying to make the chauffeur like, well, he's the one who testified about Amber Heard shitting in the bed.
Well, is he the one that found it?
I think he's the one who took her there.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of question about why is this relevant, her
Mhm.
shitting in the bed,
Mm-hmm.
and also the allegations of the severing of the finger, because Johnny Depp's trying to prove. So with a countersuit, and so you have the main lawsuit, then you have a countersuit. Both of those are being litigated and adjudicated at the same time. Like, those are not separate trials. So the evidence is being, Johnny Depp's counsel is presenting evidence to support a finding that Amber Heard made defamatory statements in the op-ed, but they're also having to present evidence that defends his position against Amber Heard's countersuit, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So he's trying to paint a picture of like, okay, you're saying that my legal team referred to these claims as fake and sexual violence hoax. Well, you are engaged in an abusive relationship and you engaged in abusive behavior. Here are examples of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the narrative that you've been perpetuating is one of a victim, when in reality you are too an abuser, allegedly an abuser, because there is video evidence that she admitted to hitting him.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
audio evidence.
Yeah. But there's also like different audio of like her saying, go put your cigarettes out on someone else. Like that show. I mean, not just like if there's
Mhm.
video of it too. I'm not sure. I just saw audio, but I mean, that's
I'm
kind of
intrigued. Yeah. I'm really intrigued to hear more about her testimony.
Mhm.
And I'm interested to see how she comes off on the stand, because right
Mhm.
now she's coming off as very unlikable,
Yeah.
but maybe she's gonna, give us an Oscar-worthy performance.
I know. I kind of think that like I hope that she gives us a little more of a timeline, because I feel like this is all over the place too, where it's like we have fights and this and that, and we're in Australia, but we're also in the Bahamas and we're asking about makeup. And I'm like, can we just like know? I need a bit more of a timeline. I need a little bit more structure. I feel like right now it's just like a bunch of shit thrown at the wall of like people who hate each other.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point, though. They're presenting their case, and then at the end, during closing, they're going to present a timeline of everything, and they're going to make sure that it's, I guess, more
Cohesive.
cohesive. And they're going to put all of the evidence together.
Did you
But
see
the
the finger?
jury's no. She threw a vodka bottle at him.
So if you scroll down on the outline, I put a picture of it and like pictures of him attached to his domestic abuse complaint against her. Yeah. So allegedly, she threw a vodka bottle at him and it took off the top of his finger.
Uh-huh.
But her team actually introduced like text messages from Johnny Depp,
Uh-huh.
basically admitting that he's the one that cut his finger.
Can you read it?
Yeah. Okay, so on 3/9/15 to his doctor, David Kipper, Johnny Depp says, "My most sincere apologies to you, Doc. I understand your decision based on my immunity to do the right thing, and I truly thank you for your concern. I must apologize for not having the presence of mind to respect the man who has been the most kind and who has done more for me than anyone ever. There was no call for my spineless and base behavior toward you. I honestly understand the reasons for your concerns in your letter and can say to you now, they no longer are an issue." Okay, this is the part. "Thank you for everything. I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my finger off again."
What?
Yeah.
You guys, the level of lunacy that is this trial. Do you know how many? I bet I would love to be a fly on the wall of the attorneys meeting after
Oh my
each day of trial when they're by themselves and their clients aren't there.
Seriously.
I really wonder what's going through their heads of just,
They're just like these are nightmare people.
and we have to remember, you guys, any piece of evidence that's being presented in this case, the parties have access to it. There are no surprises in trial. And that is something that is a huge misconception with TV shows and movies where you have this dramatic moment where the attorney drops a piece of evidence.
Yeah.
Drops a piece of evidence in the middle of trial and everyone's just like taken aback and shocked. That's not how it works. Both sides have had access to this. They know what's going to be presented. And
yeah,
I wonder, it would be interesting to know. I would have to go back and watch the testimony by Johnny Depp of how he refuted and this text message when it was brought up by Heard's attorney.
Yeah, I don't remember. But he also like texts his doctor like ordering pills. Like he's like, "You can flog me soon." This is to his doctor. "You can flog me soon for waiting until now for not having given my kind apparatus the appropriate, adequate general cock love. Oh, I have tried and mostly failed. Many, many unpleasant things happening within my business world going on that are attempting to give me the funny, pained face that could render no more and send me head first straight into a bowl of minestrone or worse, a green curry. So most necessary PRNs are all headache meds, Xanax, Adderall, and whatever this magical ointment for that traitorous redness in the much valued region of great significance. Thanks, love, XJD."
You know who this text message reminds me of? And this is going to be a wild transition.
Okay, what?
Megan Fox.
Whoa, I didn't see that coming.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Sorry, brief segue. Did you see her interview with Glamour magazine, I believe, or Cosmopolitan, where they ask her questions and she answers? So I invite you to go watch that video because the way Johnny Depp talks the same way I feel like Megan Fox speaks, where they're so in touch with their feelings. Like they've done ayahuasca, they've gone down to shamans, and where
there's rocks in their bras.
Like this magical ointment for that treacherous redness, the much valued region of great significance, where you're using too many words to describe something.
Right. Just say dick ointment. It's fine. You have a rash.
But it's like there's a need to, I feel like, exude like a level of superiority and intelligence. And it's this, of value and great significance. Thank you. Much love. It's like,
I can't even help but read it in Captain Jack Sparrow's language.
No, but the point I'm trying to make about the Megan Fox, go watch this video because she the way that she speaks is so odd. And
Yeah.
also they talk about how they drink each other's blood, which was just
Ew.
another, yeah. But then it goes back to her engagement post when she talks about them being engaged.
Yeah, with her painful wedding ring.
And the way she describes it, wait, let me hold on. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, in July of 2020, we sat under the banyan tree. We asked for magic. We were oblivious to the pain we would face together in such a short, frenetic period of time, unaware of the work and the sacrifices the relationship would require for us, but intoxicated off of the love and the karma. Somehow, a year and a half later, having walked through hell together and having laughed more than I've ever imagined possible, he asked me to marry him. Oh, wait, this isn't it. Damn it, this isn't it. There's another one that's just like,
well, we'll post
so
it.
Chaotic. Sorry, you can cut all of this out. But it's just like, it's this like Hollywood talk, right?
Yeah,
Where,
exactly. Ego
like,
and stuff.
It's ego. Like, you've met your shaman, you've done ayahuasca, you've
Right.
gone and you've got crystals hanging from your neck.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get from Johnny Depp anyways.
I
can
know,
definitely
me too. Like, yeah, me too. But I do have to say, I do like his ponytail. Okay, so these are what some of the things that our followers have to say. So
Okay.
someone said, I love that Johnny pulled up to court jamming to Exodus by Bob Marley. I didn't know that. Johnny should be able to work if abusive Amber is. She destroyed him. Somebody said, whose job is it to do the due diligence to compare the testimonies to the British trial? I think each person's attorney, if they want to use things like that. Yeah, it's each.
Yeah. So
party's
each attorney would go through, obtain a copy of the transcript, go through, look at statements.
Yeah.
And then
question on the differences. Which they did do that a few times. And then someone says, Johnny Depp fans are as loony as Michael Jackson fans. This girl named Amber goes, I hate that I share a name with her.
That's hilarious.
I wonder what kind of questions are going to be asked about the poop. Will she cop to it being her? Oh, that's a good question. They have to ask her about the poop. Johnny's team will.
I wonder if they're going to object us to relevance.
I mean, I think it goes to abuse. That's abusive to shit in someone's bed.
It is relevant, I think, to Johnny Depp. Like I said, I think it's relevant to Johnny Depp's defense to the countersuit, where he's trying to lay a foundation that this woman is volatile and as abusive as she is alleging he is. Yeah. And is toxic and was, not an angel in this whole situation. So I am 100% of the belief that both of these people are on methamphetamines because
Lauren. What? Oh, is that obvious?
Well, no, that's.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say that.
Based on what?
Oh, based on the fact that once I was visiting someone in inpatient rehab and they asked me to go with them to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Mm-hmm. And so I went to it. And while I was there, this person was like talking about how once they got like totally fucked up on meth and broke into their ex-boyfriend's home. Are we seeing similarities? Opened the dryer, took a shadoobie, turned on the dryer and left. And I just think that this is too coincidental for there not to be meth involved.
Okay, well, I will defend Amber Heard and Johnny Depp in that I don't know necessarily if there's meth involved, but I do think that there is a very large egos that are involved and probably two very big narcissists. And I think that she's just, think about how angry you get. Like if you are in a relationship and you get really, really pissed off at somebody, the things that you think about doing, there's something in your brain that keeps you from doing that. In her brain, it's missing. And so I don't know if you need a hard narcotic to do that, but it reminds, I was going to say, it reminds me of that case I had where a guy, he was drunk. There weren't drugs involved. He was just drunk. And he climbed through the attic of his ex-wife's house and crawled into bed with her.
Ew, that's creepy.
It is really creepy. It is really creepy. I prosecuted him for 2 DUIs, but
2 DUIs, but no creepiness or what?
well,
He
that
already,
yeah, no,
was
that
passed?
case was separate.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Frequent
like
flyer.
I mean, you may be right that there may be a substance involved, but I don't know if necessarily meth. I think definitely, they're.
A fuck ton of alcohol.
I think that their personalities alone are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there needs to be a substance involved.
Yeah.
I think they're both just. It's really sad because I wonder if they're this toxic in prior relationships or if it's just 2 toxic people, like you feed off of one another.
I think it's
And
2 toxic people.
Misery loves company. And so
They're just they're drama kids from high school who are like,
oh, so that's another
obsessed.
Point. That's another good point about, or just reminded me. I don't know how much I like having actors on the stand to testify because it's like, how genuine are you being? Because you can turn your emotions on and off. You can manipulate your facial expressions. You're more trained, I guess, to be able to respond
in a way,
in a way that probably a average person would not be. And you can control your reactions. And so I think there's too much. I just think there's too much theatrics going on with Johnny Depp's testimony. As even though I find it funny, I think it's kind of annoying. And so I wonder. It's
embarrassing if you ask me, like, how are you going to say that you're a victim of domestic violence and then sit on the stand during your trial and
be a
laugh?
Narcissist?
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. It's not funny.
Yeah. And I do think it's interesting though, how people are so team Johnny Depp. And it's like that person said, like Johnny Depp's fans are as crazy as Michael Jackson's. But it's true. It's like, wait, why are we siding with Johnny Depp and villainizing Amber Heard?
Right.
When they're both just as crazy.
They're both just as crazy. And I think it's okay to say that. You don't have to pick a side. You don't know these people. But unless you do, then whatever. Not
to play devil's advocate or like side with Amber Heard in this, but is this another perfect example of kind of toxic masculinity within Hollywood and within public perception, where now the female who was alleging to be the victim is now becoming.
Now she's going to get sued if she speaks out.
Well, not even that, but now she is being demonized by the public because people are finding Johnny Depp's testimony to be funny and somewhat likable. It's like, that's not I mean, I guess it kind of is the point. You want to come off credible and personable on the witness stand. But it's like, are we overlooking the evidence? Are we overlooking what is being testified to and the things that are being alleged? Because it's craziness. All of it.
It is crazy.
It's not just Amber Heard. So I'm really intrigued to see how Amber testifies.
Me too. I want to know her personality. I really do.
Well, I wonder if she'll get emotional on the stand, if she's going to come off cold, because a lot of people are looking at her body language when she's sitting there. I think is coming off as callous.
I think she's doing a good job considering to have a camera pointed at you for 8 hours the whole day. Like, you're going to make some faces. Like,
can we talk about something though? If I would love to get somebody in there to just like cut that little Swedish Dutch braid.
I hated that Dutch braid. I really didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I want to cut it and
it's just the edges, they like the tippies of the 2 braids didn't need to meet at the part of her hair. Like there's a different way to do that. And I know it can be done because you know how I know? Because American Girl dolls have had it done before.
Well, and throw an extension in.
Or just make it thicker bun. Don't do the hair. Don't do the hairstyle.
You know what's really sad is you can tell how much this situation has like worn both of them down. Like they both look significantly different than they did in their relationship in 2015. And of course it's 6 years later, but for 2 people, I think that are really prevalent, I mean, have huge Hollywood careers and are probably vain and like their appearance, they both look terrible.
I wonder if that was the point. But yeah, she needs a facial.
She looks exhausted.
She does look exhausted.
I mean, gosh, I'm the type of person though, if I were in Amber Heard's position, I would have just said, I'm walking away.
Yeah.
Let's just call it quits. I will at least pay your attorney's fees, or you can pay your attorney's fees. I'll pay mine. Let's walk away from it. But he really wants the $50 million. That's the thing. That's why I don't think they'll settle, is because he is adamant that he has
He
been
wants to be
defamed and he lost his
vindicated.
money.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, like the public perception, there is a level of vindication that's happened for him.
Yeah.
And people are writing articles where they're like, I think Johnny Depp, the best thing for him was to get up on the stand and testify, because I think he's winning back his career. And so, I mean, that's the biggest thing, is like, he wants his career back. He wants to be able to be in movies again, which I don't see why he wouldn't.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't, that's the
And
other
why
thing.
wouldn't
It's
she
like,
be able to?
I don't understand this. Like, there are many men out there who are worse actors than Johnny Depp who still have a career after being abusive. Like, you can't tell me that.
And
I
I'm
don't
just,
know.
it goes back to cancel culture though. And I'm so against cancel culture and this idea of what people do in their private lives. I don't, it really is none of our business. Of course, you don't want anyone to engage in criminal behavior or, be abusive. But at the same time, it's like simply having an allegation lodged is enough to cancel your entire career you've worked years and years and years for. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think both of them should be able to work if they're both good actors.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that because they put their life out there.
Whatever.
And also,
they could have avoided all of this.
But the thing is like, yeah, your public perception and the way that you're coming off on the stand is likable, but what ties have you burned within the industry? Because now your celebrity friends' text messages are being leaked.
I mean, Elton John is for sure never going to invite them over again.
Okay, there was I don't know if you guys know, his name's Paul Bettany. Do you know who Bettany?
I just have heard of him, but I have no idea who he is.
He was the guy in Da Vinci Code. He was the monk.
Okay.
A very skinny white guy. Anyways, his text messages were used as an exhibit. And Paul came out and was like, it's really embarrassing to see my text messages, like private text messages being used in exhibit, because you can tell it. They're like joking around about, this is obviously not great, but they're joking around about killing Amber Heard and like drowning her in the pool. But think about, and of course, like without context, it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But think about the shit we've said in text messages back and forth to each other, or private conversations you've had with your friends where
your group chat,
you each know you're joking.
Yeah.
And then to have that text message pulled and then used in a trial against
someone else,
and you being used against your friend, and then you have to testify.
I'd be pissed.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, now, okay, Johnny Depp is this litigious, and so is Amber Heard, and they're willing to bring their friends in, and they're, people they work with in the industry and drag them into this lawsuit. So if they're capable of doing that, like, why am I going to work with them in the future where I could potentially be exposed to that?
I would never.
I'd be like, phone calls only.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. I'd be like, bye. I can't hang out with you. I have to brush my hair. My mom's calling. Okay. Do you have any criminal behavior?
My criminal behavior is the Dutch braid.
Oh yeah. It's really bad.
It's so bad. Just, and that, let me get on my soapbox for a minute.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be bad. There are hairstyles that some women should wear and other hairstyles, like there are certain hairstyles you should wear based on the texture of hair you have and the fullness of hair that you have. I think we've talked about this before with extensions, like
if you could see them through your hair.
Yeah. Like I'm not wearing braids. I'm not doing certain things with my hair because I feel like my hair is a little bit thinner, or it just doesn't have, like, I can't wear a slicked down, like the Bella Hadid, how they do like the slick down buns, or I can't do the thing where you pull your hair, the
poof
little
in the
ponytails,
front.
or the little pigtails that people are doing, because it doesn't look good on me. It doesn't look good on my hair, my head. It doesn't look good with my hair. I think women just need to come to terms with that. Just because a hairstyle is trending doesn't mean it's going to look good on you.
Just because you
Doesn't mean you
can
should do
doesn't
it.
mean you should, honey.
Should. Exactly. You know, like, yeah, it's that those little pigtails people are doing with their hair.
Yeah, I think they're
I-
so cute.
I
The
can't do it
little
though.
millennial
I
vibes.
think I think it's cute. And you
Yeah.
can do the thing where you pull up a little piece of your hair
Yeah.
and you do like a cute little fountain, half up, half
Pony.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it. Doesn't look good on me. So I recognize that. And so I think Amber Heard's hairstyle should have recognized that Dutch braid with the little thin tendrils probably shouldn't have happened.
It should not have happened at all. It really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Okay. My criminal behavior is I have a lot, but I'm going to focus it down to one. Have you been
Okay.
watching Selling Sunset?
Okay. Maybe we'll have to do a Patreon on that because I did a binge, you guys.
I did too.
In my yeah.
Yeah.
Binge.
So
Okay.
my criminal behavior is the girl Emma selling fucking frozen empanadas and like,
oh my.
and then like bringing them to her Hispanic boyfriend's house who like literally makes tequila and is like, oh my God, I made empanadas. And it's like, ew. Ew, you are disgusting. How dare you even try to call that an empanada?
I love too that the empanadas were brought up as if we were all privy to the fact that she owned this empanada company. And I'm like, I had to Google it.
Well, remember that was like last season is when we were introduced to her. She was like on the jet and she's like, oh yeah, I'm just so busy for my empanadas. And I'm like, wait, I've never fucking seen one.
But she
Is she
even said
Stacy from Stacy's, like from the freezer aisle or what?
But she hasn't even, I don't think she's ever said the brand. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, yeah. You're talking about the fact that you haven't empanadas, but it's like, what's the brand? Like, I don't get it.
Ew.
Do you
and
own
then,
a frozen food company? Are you a vegan chef? Like,
right.
What? It's
and
just
how
like
do you have the money to fly private off of frozen empanadas we've never heard of before?
I guess she is. I did a little bit of a deep dive on her, and I guess she was really successful. And then also in the Selling Sunset, she talks about how she invested in the stock market really early on.
Okay, good for her.
Yeah. But I think she came from like a low class, like a
she worked really hard to get where
I think she worked really, and it's like the same with Chriselle,
Mhm.
where they come off kind of annoying, but you're like, I give it to them. They worked hard.
Yeah.
Her style bothers me.
I also
All of their styles
just
bother me.
couldn't stand that she like served those empanadas with not a salsa, not a guac,
you guys,
not a sour cream, nothing.
Not a dip in
Not
sight.
even a little sprig of cilantro you could eat around. Like it was like, here are these things from the freezer and they're now on this plate in this multi-million-dollar home.
The only empanada I will eat without a sauce is that of an authentic empanada or a samosa or something from like your mom, your grandma,
Yeah.
your abuela, whoever. I'm sorry, I'm
not
eating.
Emma from Selling Sunset. Not her.
That has been frozen, dehydrated, and then zapped in the air fryer.
Exactly. If we're lucky.
Probably
Yeah.
microwaved.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that was so fun.
You know what? And it was fun. And episodes may be a little chaotic, but it's like this trial is chaotic. Like there is no way.
It is chaotic.
It is so, there's so much evidence, there's so many allegations, there's so much going on that it's too much to cover. Like it is too much to cover in detail. And so the only way I feel like we can really go over this is to speak in generalities and just talk about the fun, hot, juicy gossip.
Yeah.
And like the procedural side of it is so
Nobody
boring.
cares anyway. Doesn't anybody care? If you care, let us know if you care about the procedural history.
The procedural
because they'll
history
screenshot the register of actions for you and send it.
The procedural history of it is just
nobody cares.
No one cares. No one cares because this trial is so salacious. But maybe we'll do like some live updates on the gram about
that sounds fun.
About Amber Heard's testimony because I'm intrigued by that.
Me too.
And this whole trial has totally sidetracked our Erica Jane deep dive, which will be coming
eventually.
It's gonna come before the Beverly Hills premiere, which I think might be today.
Is it today?
I don't know. I feel like it is.
Oh my God. I
Wait,
feel like we
Beverly?
haven't even gotten enough really like jazz about that, but I guess I haven't really been watching TV. Okie dokie, everybody. Well, thank you for
11th.
listening. Subscribe to our Patreon page, Allegedly Bravo on Patreon, Allegedly Bravo, literally everywhere. This episode is brought to you by the Morally Corrupt Shop, and we will be doing a little cross merch with the Morally Corrupt Shop. So
Morally Corrupt X Allegedly Bravo.
that's what's up. So head on over to Morally Corrupt, head on over to Allegedly Bravo, and just enjoy it, guys. We're doing this for you.
We are, and we will be putting up a poll because I want to know what everyone's guesses are for the outcome of this case. Is Johnny going to win? Is Amber Heard going to win? Is no one going to win? Let's find out.
Let's find out. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.